Have you ever felt tired of fighting alone? Have you faced situations where it seemed like all doors were closed and yet you tried with your own strength? If this has ever happened to you, stay with me until the end of this video, because today we are going to talk about something that can completely transform your life. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave your like. By doing this, besides supporting the channel, you will receive content that strengthens your faith and helps you walk closer to God every day. Now, let me ask you a question. How many times have you tried to solve something on your own and ended up frustrated, drained, powerless, as if you had lost the battle before it even began? Giving everything to God is not giving up. It's not crossing your arms and waiting for everything to fall from the sky. Giving is acknowledging, Lord, I cannot do this on my own, but in you I can do all things. The psalmist gives us a powerful key in Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Notice, true surrender begins when we find pleasure, trust, and joy in God, not in circumstances. When you delight yourself in the Lord, your heart aligns with his will, and then victory begins to flow supernaturally. A classic example is David versus Goliath. Humanly speaking, David could never have defeated that giant. But David knew he was not alone. He said to Goliath, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts." David trusted in the God who fights for him, not in his stone, not in his skill. Now I ask you, in which areas of your life have you placed more trust in your stones than in the power of God? When you choose to surrender, your struggle doesn't end, but it changes in nature. You begin to fight in the spiritual realm, not just the human. And here's something powerful. When you yield to God, you don't lose control of the situation. You gain true control because he guides every step. To make you even more curious, I will reveal a spiritual practice that can completely transform your surrender and trust, opening doors that have been closed for a long time. If this question resonated with you, know that you are not here by accident. God has something prepared for you today. In today's video, we will dive deep together into a profound topic: the difference between fighting with our own strength and truly surrendering our battles to God. And I want to give you a heads up. When you understand what it means to rest in God, you realize that victory doesn't depend only on your effort, but on what the Creator has already prepared for you. Stay with me until the end, because I will share not only words of encouragement, but also biblical truths that can change the way you see the battles in your life. And pay attention. At some point in this video, I will reveal a powerful spiritual key that can unlock what you are experiencing today. Don't miss it, because it could be exactly the answer you've been waiting for. Fighting alone is an enormous burden. When we try to solve everything with our own intelligence, resources, or strategies, we reach a point of exhaustion. It's like carrying a very heavy suitcase along a long road. At some point, the body can't take it anymore. The Bible shows this clearly. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice that Jesus is not just inviting, he is giving a promise. When you come to him, the weight you carry alone is replaced by his rest. Now, pause and reflect. How many battles have you tried to face alone? At work, in your family, in relationships, in your spiritual or financial life? And how many times have you felt trapped? This is an important point. Fighting alone is ignoring that there is someone infinitely more powerful, willing to fight for you. Look at the example of Moses at the Red Sea. The people of Israel were surrounded. Behind them, Pharaoh's army in front the sea. It was impossible to win on their own. But it was precisely in that moment of apparent defeat that God parted the sea. Did you know that often God allows impossible situations just to show that victory comes from Him, not from our strength? It may seem hard to understand right now, but this is a powerful spiritual key. When everything seems lost, it may be exactly the moment God is about to act supernaturally in your life. Perhaps you're asking yourself, how do I truly surrender my struggle to God? Here's the spiritual key. True surrender happens when you rest and trust God with all your heart. In Psalm 37:5, it says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." It's not just a beautiful phrase, it's a command and a promise. God invites us to surrender, challenges us to trust, and guarantees that He will act. When you surrender, you remove the weight from your hands and place it into the hands of the Almighty. Surrendering is not giving up. It is resting. It is praying, "Lord, let your will be done, not mine." Paul and Silas, imprisoned in a jail, chose to worship instead of complain. And what happened? The chains were broken and the doors opened. Could it be that your victory is just on the other side of a sincere prayer and worship in the midst of difficulty? And pay attention, trusting is harder than surrendering. Many times we surrender, but we remain anxious. The psalmist teaches us, surrender, trust, and wait. I will show you what happens when you truly live this surrender and trust, described in Psalm 37, the emotional conclusion that will renew your faith today. And now we reach the most exciting part of this message. What happens when you surrender and trust in the Lord, as Psalm 37 teaches? In Psalm 37:7 it says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." This is incredible. God does not ask you to fight until you have no strength left. He asks you to rest and wait, because victory is already guaranteed in Him. Further on in Psalm 37:9, the promise is clear. "For the evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land." In other words, when you surrender and trust, injustice, pain, and even the evil set against you will not have the final word. God guarantees that those who wait on Him will receive victory and abundant life. Imagine your life if today you made this decision. Stop fighting alone. Surrender everything into God's hands and rest in Him. Imagine your battles becoming testimonies, your tears turning into smiles, your defeats becoming stepping stones to victory. When you understand that your part is to trust and God's part is to act. Now, I want you to declare in the comments, "I surrender, I trust, I rest in the Lord." This is not just a phrase, it's a spiritual decision. And before we close, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. You may be the channel through which God transforms someone's life today. Never forget. Stop fighting alone. Surrender, trust, and rest, because God already has the victory.